time for another Macro Mills podcast and download, where winning is the game and we have no shame. Your macro dose of motivation, nutrition, and entertainment. And now your host, Doug Green.
Welcome everybody to another podcast and download. I am your official host, Douglas Green.
Yep.
And joined always on the far right is Mr. Josh Rice. And today we're talking with Kevin Doncaster. People are like, who is this masked man? Kevin Doncaster and I'll give you a little history, known each other for quite a few years. Kevin is a former United States Marine as well as I am. We both share similar passions. I got some breaking news for you after the end of the show. But I want to get to introduce Kevin and his cause, what he's doing for our veterans, which is near and dear to both of us. So today, we're interviewing Kevin Doncaster. He's with a company called Warhawk PTSD Service Dogs. It was formed after he himself received a dog of his own without any cost. Someone felt like blessing him and would accept no form of payment. Shortly after, one of his buddies who served with him in Afghanistan committed suicide, unfortunately. After praying and asking for direction, he called the breeder of this dog and shared his story, which comes with 7 years a split service between Iraq and Afghanistan. So, thank you, Double Dog. So what does Warhawk PTSD do? What do they deliver? They deliver to people with post-traumatic stress disorder, correct? And there's a high emphasis, as I'm learning, especially for veterans.
No doubt.
And you guys are doing this, which is crazy. They're delivering it without any cost. And if any of you have ever had a dog, you have a dog, Josh?
I have 2 dogs.
You look like a cat person, though.
No.
I would think that you were like,
I don't mind cats.
No.
You don't
mind cats?
I don't mind cats, especially fat, lazy ones that leave me alone. But I have 2 dogs that one I like a lot.
So you know
the other one I can get rid of.
that they cost money.
Oh yeah. Unless people call you and say someone just left this dog in a ditch, come get it. That's what I do.
There's the post. You got to feed them. You got to take them on walks. Here's the time.
Right. God forbid they have like ACL surgery or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what they're doing, they're relying on God and the public for donations. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Doncaster, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll just tie right into that. So here's the deal. I think that there's a big void, there's a gap in what not only the VA is trying to do because they're constantly inundated. We've got several generations of veterans that need help, and I think this is a great way to do it. So I think that the first thing we're trying to do is we're trying to give veterans a purpose, something to distract them from getting out of their own head and being down or depressed or just focusing on maybe some of the tours that they've done. But the other thing too, with respect to what you're saying about just trusting in the public, we're giving the public an opportunity to stand in that gap with us, to fill that void. And I think nothing sends a better message that we support you or we love you than to be able to gift somebody a dog.
Yeah, there's a huge, and I think the public misunderstands, and it's kind of all misconstrued because of all the publicity and everything else. Nobody understands that there's zero transition. So we go from war to here's public, moving back to being a civilian.
Yeah.
Like there's zero transition. So we go through bouts of depression. There's PTSD. There's sense of change. We're always on the move. Always. So my first few years out, I had like 4 cars and 2 or 3 houses, and there was always something. I had to be moving, had to be doing something because I didn't know I'd never transitioned.
That's right.
But the VA gave me 10% back then, $200 a month. I'm like, heck yeah. But little did I know there was a lot of trauma that was going on that was undiagnosed.
Right. So I think that people get it misconstrued because of the movies that we see. We see guys on a ship, or we see World War II movies, and they're taking a couple weeks at sea before they actually go into the battlefield. For me, I think 36 hours was my record from being in the States to being on my first patrol. And then you come back in the same fashion, and now you've got to reintegrate with society. I mean, the biggest struggle that I have is going into the grocery store.
Yeah.
Too many selections.
Yeah.
People are
rude.
Can't make decisions. You're crowded, and you just start sweating and breaking down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that misconception is because of the way that media at Hollywood, make it look so. I don't know. Easy, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, it's definitely not.
I was listening to a Navy SEAL talk the other day, and it made total sense to me. And on the listeners on the podcast, I bet they were like, "What the?" We trained for so many years. Mm-hmm. When he got to war, it was like a sense of relief because we could actually do what we were trained to do. So people think that we just come back from battle. We've actually been preparing for battle for years before that.
Yep.
So it's a mindset that we've been in for so long, and then to come, now I have to get a job and I have to perform as a husband, wife, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So to talk about the dogs a little bit. We don't rescue dogs. I think that's one thing I really wanted to come in here and just address. We're not a dog or animal rescue foundation. We're a people rescue foundation.
That's awesome.
The second thing is we deal with strictly Australian Shepherds. We train them as ranch cattle dogs first.
You can't go to American Shepherd, dude. I mean,
well, Australian Shepherd is what I was gifted, and it really made me passionate about. The breed, yeah. And so when I reached out to the breeder and told him what I wanted to do and how I wanted to accomplish it, he was completely on board. And then I really started to learn more about Australian Shepherds. So
they're awesome, man.
They're great dogs, and the reason why we like ranch cattle dogs is because they know how to block, they know how to circle.
Did your dog does she round you up?
She rounds me up, but she also blocks other people from coming into that zone that I just don't want intruded on. So she's great about making sure that people stay a proper distance from me.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit, about you, Kevin. What is your inspiration, man? Like, what wakes you up in the morning and says, man, what is it, man?
I just want to put a stop to veteran suicides. Yep. That's absolutely why I get up every morning. My phone rings off the hook, and I feel like I'm almost like a suicide prevention line, and I'll happily do that.
Yeah, amen.
So, but I think ultimately what I think is just atrocious is I've been there too. I've battled with bouts of suicidal thoughts and just depression, and I know that I'm not alone in that.
Yeah. So
getting up every day, trying to reach these guys that need the help, or gals. We've actually given away 2 dogs to ladies. Ooh. So, I want these guys to know they're not alone and that there's help available to them and that people do care. I think today, I guarantee you could walk up to somebody off the street and you could tell them, hey, did you know that we got people in Afghanistan? We got people in Iraq. We've had people in Syria, or we still do. Mm-hmm. Half of them wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, nor do they care.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what's upsetting to me. So let's get into a little bit about the dogs. I had a couple of questions, and we can gather these together. We can go back and circle back through them. But what are the hard costs, let's say, from A to Z, from the breeding to the delivery of the dog? What's that hard cost? Yeah,
the hard cost is going to vary based on how long we keep the dog, but on average, we're out the door at about $500 a head.
And is that after training, or you guys doing
that's after all the trainings involved, shots, anything that's needed to get that dog healthy and out the door.
Mm-hmm. So $500 per dog.
Per dog.
That's way cheaper than I thought it was going to be. It really is. It seems achievable versus. When you see like a German Shepherd at a police station, they're spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 per dog, in the training. So,
well, I would feel that if we were to factor in actually the training and how much time we have spent into it, that cost would go up. But these are just costs to keep them fed, give them the shots. We do like to have them spayed or neutered before we go out because we don't want somebody making a puppy mill off of our program. Yeah. But that's about where we're at.
Cool. So once a dog is delivered to a veteran, explain to us that process. Is it do you guys have a pick a thing out of the hat, say, oh, you won, so now we take you? No. Do you guys have a priority list?
So this is actually the only cost that any recipient will ever incur. We do have an application fee very similar to what any, say ARF, for example, Animal Rescue Foundation down the street on Nowata.
For you people that are listening in California, that's okay. You don't know where it's at. It's animal rescue.
Yeah, animal rescue. So if you want to adopt a dog, they're going to charge a fee. They're going to do a background check or whatever. And they're going to make sure that you have, say, a veterinarian and stuff like that. We do the exact same thing, but our background check is a little more in-depth because we want to make sure that our dogs are going to the right people.
Yeah,
people with actual PTSD as well.
Yeah. That's great, man. So after the dog is delivered, you guys have picked the person, they fill out the application, they're good to go. You know, what are the next steps? Is it a home delivery? Do they come to you guys? And then after that, what is required of the veteran or whomever you choose? Is it continued training? Is it?
Yeah, we'd like to touch base on an annual basis, but just to make sure that we address any training issues that might happen. I mean, Lacey right now, she's getting a little slack. Lacey's my service dog, but
I should have brought her in today.
I should have. Yeah, I was thinking about it.
We could have had a contest between Josh's hair and her hair. Who had the best hair?
Lacey would smoke you. Yeah,
What's up?
Well, so in a perfect scenario, once we identify a good candidate, we would like to have them out to the kennel. We'd like to see, based on matching a dog with a recipient is pretty important. We know that some dogs are just going to be geared towards females and other dogs towards males.
Yep.
Based on the severity of the PTSD as well. Let's take Marquise, for example. He was the very first recipient of a dog, and he was a forward observer in Afghanistan, just came back late last year. This guy has night terrors, so we can't have a timid dog that's just going to get terrified of him.
This dog needs somebody to comfort him.
That's correct. Yeah. So Hope is so perfectly trained. She would jump on the bed, wake him up from his night terrors, and then comfort him until he's ready to go back to sleep.
I just love that this is a different solution, and I'm not knocking the VA, but the typical, like the prototype standard, the way that they do things is if you have PTSD, you have night terrors, we got a pill for you.
Right.
Oh, by the way, you got depression. Now here's another pill for you. Oh, I'm having anxiety. Here's another pill for you. So now you have this list of pills, but there's actual, like a holistic, natural approach to this. What it's getting these veterans an option that's not medication.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's where the next piece comes in, right? So we train these dogs to identify the triggers. So my dog, she will actually, when she knows that I'm stressed out, if I'm having a flashback or I'm talking about the Middle East, she'll come up under my hand and she'll take me out of that situation. Yeah. She's distracting me and she's disrupting the trigger.
That's cool.
So that's the other piece that they do.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. So I have a statistic here which is alarming to me, but it says 8 out of every 100 people, 8% of the population, and this is
civilian.
Well, America, but it's the I can't think what society I got this from, but we'll post it in the notes. So 8% of the population will have PTSD at some point during their lives. It's reported that nearly 8 million adults have PTSD during any given year. Any given year in the United States, 8 million people. Now, what's the alarming factor that I got up from the VA? The one step further is the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs estimates that PTSD afflicts almost 31% of the veterans. So we go from a 8% jump to 31% just from military. Mm-hmm. It's alarming, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything to say about that?
I mean, 22 suicides a day says it all. And I really feel that is not an accurate depiction.
That's reported.
That's just what we know of.
Yeah.
So Warhawk PTSD service dogs is just trying to put a dent in that. And hopefully, maybe one day we'll be big enough to where we can eradicate that.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. It's like the sigh of relief, Josh. You have any questions for him?
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it goes along with we try to get people to eat healthy and helps balance them out. But
I can't
sometimes
say
you need the next thing.
But that's huge,
right?
I mean, so what you guys do, I don't think people realize that if you can get right in your nutrition, the need for the medications falls off.
Right.
And so
exercise and nutrition will better the medication almost always. Almost always. There's a few exceptions, but if nothing, I mean, in all of the things in the psychology recommendations when you go to a psychiatrist or either one. Exercise and nutrition is like number 1 and 2 on the list, and then the medication. So. But there's also some gaps, and this is a cool gap to fill for sure. Yeah.
I have a quote here, man. I read a ton of books, and one of my favorite authors is Colin Powell. You guys know who he is, right?
Yep.
Okay, just make sure everybody knows Colin Powell. So one of my favorite sayings he says is, "It ain't as bad as you think. It will look better in the morning." Like if we can just get through that serious time, having one of our episodes. If we just keep it I just taught myself to peel back a little bit. Yeah. It'll get better the next day. And it typically is. So you don't have to grind it through. There's resources available. Mm-hmm. even here at Macro Mills, you can reach out to me or one of my staff, and we would gladly talk you through anything. And with that, I want to say thank you for being here, Kevin. So part of what we do is our promotional item is $2.22. So any customer wanting to try Macro Mills out, you can try your first 2 meals out for $2.22. From this day forward, we're going to donate $1 of every single one of those first 2 meals for $2.22 to Warhawk PTSD. Now, sounds like a decent deal, but so I'm going to set a goal board of $10,000 donated to you guys by the end of the year. That's our goal here at Macro Mills. So we need your help. So yes, it helps Macro Mills, but look, when you actually buy nutritional food, something good for you, healthy for you, you're actually going to be donating to helping a veteran and the Warhawk PTSD. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll try to do like a monthly post or something with you, like what we did for the month, and we'll hand you a check and that kind of thing. Maybe meet some of the dogs and some of the people. Yeah. Get them on the show, that kind of thing. Kevin, what is one action item you want our listening audience to do? Is it do they want to go out? I know you got like 7 books out. Is it a website that they could go to? Can they call you? Is it social media? What's one action item or multiple action items if you have them, that you would have our listening audience go out? Where can they donate? And who can they talk to? What website? Go ahead.
Yeah, so for sure, I'd like you guys to just put our social media site up there. It's Warhawk PTSD Service Dogs. We're on Facebook, and that's generally how we promote things for now. We would like to expand that and I don't know, maybe compete with you guys a little bit and see who can gain the most social media.
You can't get 2 Marines as competitive natures.
I get this question a lot, and I'm going to give a couple of options to the audience here. So number one is, you see a veteran, walk up to them, and don't just thank them for their service, give them a hug. You have no idea how a handshake and a smile could just change the trajectory of somebody's day. That's whether they're a veteran or not, but specifically for a veteran. So that doesn't cost you anything. And I think that's something we should all do, because I think that we're missing out the understanding of veterans are the reason why we get to enjoy the everyday life that we have. So please go out of your way to do that. Second thing is, just look us up on Facebook. We always have, we are very action-oriented or goal-oriented in how we do specific donations. Right now, we're breeding. We know we have a pregnant dog, and so we understand that if we have a litter of, say, 16 pups at $500 a head, that's going to be about $8,000. So I think it's awesome that you guys are going to target 10 grand, because that's going to mean almost 20 dogs. Yeah, 20 dogs. Yeah. And you're going to impact lives, and so that's how you guys can do it. And I've got almost 5,000 friends on Facebook. So if everybody just gave $1,
are you bragging? $1. So let's create the urgency.
So the urgency is.
Let me. Well, can I build it up a little bit?
Sure, build it up.
And I'm going to put you kind of on the spot. What are your immediate needs right now? Are you guys? You don't have to dispel everything, but is it something that like you guys are underfunded? Do we not have enough dogs? Do we not have enough resources in the current needs? So we can create the urgency for our listening audience. Well, where can they go to, or what? Are you an underfunded company right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. So to give you an idea, I spent over $7,000 of my own money to keep this thing alive, and I'll continue to do that. Mm-hmm. Just looking at my tax returns last year, that's what I shoveled out. But since that time, the community's really stepped up. I mean, we've raised a lot of money, and now we've been able to cover the kennel expansion, so that we actually received several dogs via donation.
Nice.
Australian Shepherds too. So that's been awesome. So that filled a gap when we were in the process of breeding. So now we know we have about 40 to 45 days before those pups arrive. Between now and then, we have got to raise that money so that we can care for them, get them the shots, and go through that process.
You heard it here, guys. Yeah. They need your donation. So where can they go to donate, Kevin?
On our Warhawk Facebook page.
Go to the Warhawk Facebook page. Everybody go look at it right now. Warhawk PTSD. We're actually going to link it on
the magic of cinematography. There you go.
Of all our listening audience out there, I'm going to challenge every single one of you to go out and donate. Yeah. I mean, again, we have thousands of fans. You have thousands of fans. If we just get $1 per person. Or maybe we can do 10. You can skip one QT stop, or for you West Coasters, the 7-Elevens. Stop going out there one time a week, and you can donate to a good cause.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I appreciate it. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
Anybody wants to find out any more information, go to our website is www.macromealsonline.com, where you can find out why we're Tulsa's #1 meal delivery service, and we are the home of the first 2 meals for $2.22. And we like to end every single show with a
peace.